Ma ba sma ba da dee da. Sma da ba dee. Smart Kevin rolls a 9. I bet he does. I can't find some stuff. I wanted uh I wanted to make a joint. I really wanted to make a joint. But I can't find my rolling paper. I'm also very thirsty, so I'm gonna get myself something to drink. Smart Kevin. This is my Smart Kevin look. Smart Kevin. Okay, BRB. I wonder where my I wonder where it went. My stuff. My Timu paper. It's around here somewhere, but whatever, dude. Ugh. I need something to drink. JRE Smart Log. Smart Log. Smart Log. Yeah, I have no idea where my rolling paper went. I know it's around here. But where? You know? On the floor? Maybe? I don't think so. Want some sunglasses, that's interesting. I don't know. Fuck. Whatever, it's around. Whatever. I guess I won't be smoking a joint. Ugh. So what's cracking, dude? Today is a fucking boring day. I mean, like, really boring. Here comes the ferret. Yeah, Dork. Yeah, I know. really like slow paced. Oh yeah, dark energy. You're right. It is like dark energy. There comes the boat. And I would hate to be out in this weather, huh? Imagine. That's some shit weather, dude. Why is he like... Man, oh, holy shit, dude, this is loud. Made it. Where's this music coming from? Where's this music coming from? Huh? Phew. Phew. What are you posting now, huh? The fuck is this? Professor Bartlog. I think Bartlog is a good name for a bad guy. Bartlog. Oh, it's John McCann. Is he still alive? I thought he like got. I thought he got deaded. Yeah, what are you doing now? Nothing's harder than a woman washing you. I want one of these. They clean the place and then they come home and then they greet you. I basically want a cat that sucks dick. I want a woman with a cat's personality and then it sucks my dick. Just give me that, dude. Get this, dude. Huh? Why are we like, dude? What kind of shit war was this? What are we airstriking here, huh? Fucking bamboo huts. What are we doing? Huh? With napalm. What a shit fucking war, dude. What abs and they fucking lost. America, America's always been garbage. I think you just have to come to terms with your country has always been a shit nigger country, dude. You come from a long line of niggers and just dude, stop. You know, it's just this shit animation.
What you are looking at is a pyroclastic flow, aka a superheated current of
At least it
volcanic
was,
gases,
yeah, it was,
ash,
yeah, that's true.
lava,
It
and
was
other
relevant.
eruptive products descending the northwestern flank of the Mount Stromboli volcano in Italy. Moving at a speed of more than 30 miles or 48 kilometers per hour, it eventually reached the Mediterranean Sea after traveling more than 3,200 feet or a kilometer. Upon entering the water, the energetic flow did not simply peter out, but instead moved a few dozen more meters over the water. While this was occurring, part of the pyroclastic flow entered the 90 meters or
Yeah, but I want to see the
He had
wave,
landed
dude.
collapse such as what you are
Boring.
looking at is a pyroclastic flow. What you are looking
What you're looking at is your mom's fucking fat vagina, nigger. It looks just sad. Oh yeah, I should look up her OnlyFans. Cause like, isn't this weird? Look, this is the content she makes on YouTube, right? Look, so yeah, like yeah, oh yeah, like wood fire shit, whatever. Irene fire cooking, and then you go to her channel, it's like, yeah, dude, watch me fucking be a whore on the internet on my Patreon. You know, like Christ Almighty, dude. Irene fire cooking. Okay, let's check. Irene fire cooking nude. I'm just gonna do this and then see if I can actually. Yeah, yeah, she's nude. She's naked in the pictures. Yeah, yeah, you see that? You see that? That's a titty right there. I gotta move it so you don't get tittified. Yeah, but yeah, she's a whore, alright. Ah, shit, it's just stupid. Fucking, fucking anything to just not get a real job, dude. It's fucking crazy. Some Romanian fucking villager, dude. Huh? Or whatever. I bet she's like, it says that she's from the United States. Yeah, of course. But obviously she's not from the United States. She's like from Romania or whatever, some nigger country like that. I swear to God, dude, anything but fucking get a real job. Unbelievable. Indian bus driver, very fast, very go. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Damn, look at that. This is in Japan. It's crazy.
This amazing and majestic site is the Tateyama Snow Corridor, which is a very unique route cut right through the snow of the northern Japan Alps, the so-called Roof of Japan. The Tateyama area has one of the heaviest snowfalls in the world, receiving about 7 meters on average, but can receive snowfall of up to 20 meters. Accumulated snow around the upper sections of the route allow for the creation of the snow corridor, which can have snow walls of up to 65 feet or 20 meters in height and runs for a 500 meters stretch of road. Every year, a dedicated team work together to carve out the corridor. The
I've
snow
driven.
walls are formed by
I
expelling
have
the
a
heavy
picture
snow
of
with
me as a
specially
kid.
built snow plow machines
With stuff like
designed
this
to handle
too.
such large snow deposits.
Up in the
They start clearing
Norwegian
the snow only
highway.
after locating the
It's,
road with GPS.
maybe not as big as
without
this,
GPS, they would have
but
no
at
idea
least
where the
like
road is.
3-4 meters. 3 meters tall.
When the road has been cleared,
Yeah, but this is
path carved
exceptionally
through the
big.
deep snow makes a natural wonder and a unique tourist attraction called the Tateyama Snow Corridor. This snow corridor, with its white walls stretching to the sky, is a visual spectacle, especially on clear days when the blue sky contrasts strikingly with the pure white snow walls. To reach the Tateyama Snow Corridor from the closest city of Toyama, the journey starts with a 1-hour train ride from Toyama to Tateyama Station. From there, you take a 7-minute cable car ride to Bijodaira Station, followed by a 50-minute scenic bus ride to Murodo Station, passing through the snow corridor on the final 500-meter stretch of road before reaching your final destination.
Where's it?
The total travel time is approximately 2.5 hours, including transfers and waiting times. Since the route opened in June 1971, the Tateyama mountain area has transformed from an isolated spot into one of Japan's most popular sightseeing destinations.
It's probably gorgeous there during the summer too, I'd imagine, dude.
There are many tourist attractions in the Tateyama area, such as the stunning mountain scenery, waterfalls, and natural hot springs. But the snow corridor is the main attraction, drawing about 1 million visitors annually from around the world. The deepest part of the snow corridor opens to pedestrians from mid-April to mid-June, allowing visitors to walk between the towering snow walls, breathing the crisp mountain air, and enjoy this natural wonder at their own pace. The Tateyama Snow Corridor may be a popular tourist attraction, but it's a byproduct of an engineering feat. It highlights the Japanese commitment to maintaining connection through this critical transportation link across the northern Japan Alps, despite the heavy snowfall. In some parts of Japan, they have sprinklers that pop up from under the road and spray hot water to melt the forming ice and snow, which helps keep the roads clear.
Oh, that's
but
smart.
they don't have this option on mountain roads. But if they had that in the Japan Alps, then we would never get to see such an amazing engineering wonder carved directly into nature. The Tateyama Snow Corridor is a testament to human ingenuity, seamlessly blending infrastructure with the awe-inspiring beauty of nature, where visitors
Calm
witness
down,
both
dude.
nature.
They relax. You know, it's not that. It's a road. You can't relax. Oh shit! Look at that way. Oh shit! Look at that. That's massive. Oh, look at that, dude. Damn, son. That's some waves. We're out here making waves. Surfs up, motherfucker. Yee. You know, if it was possible, you would be a white guy on a surfboard on that surfing that shit, because they just love surfing, dude. You don't see a lot of Asians surf or black people surf. Well, this one, it's a very white guy activity. Like, not even like Polynesians, you know. I would think, like, since they live on the island, I feel like it's a very white guy activity. Same, like, any sort of extreme sports, whatever, you know, any sort of, like, rad.
Into the fall season.
You know, like mountain climbing. Mountain climbing is like
the end of their
only white people too, except for the Sherpas, who are like the Asians. But you know what I mean, right? Like, it's, you don't see Mexicans like, oh no, I'm a climb on Everest, bro. Oh, you know.
Don't take it personal when I say, like.
There's always some dude, some French guy named like Pierre, or some white guy named Kevin. You know, it's fucking Kevin and Pierre, dude.
Baby.
They just love that shit. Even white women. It's just a very white guy activity to do that shit. Strange islands?
Islands can be very interesting places. With them being disconnected and or isolated from other landmasses, they can sometimes offer unique situations. Just look at the likes of the Galapagos Islands, Socotra Island, or the entire country of Madagascar. Some 37% of the flora and fauna on Socotra Island is endemic, 80% in the Galapagos, and an unbelievable 90% on Madagascar. But sometimes it's not the islands where there are diverse and rare animals. It's the ones where one particular type of animal has essentially taken over. Like for example, Tashirojima Island in Japan,
That's the
which
cat
has
island.
a very interesting story. So in the 1940s, the island had a bit of a rodent problem. To combat this, the residents introduced a lot of cats. The cats spread like rabbits and their numbers skyrocketed. But if we skip forward to today, the human population has dropped, but the cat population has only increased, meaning cats easily outnumber humans. Cats roam freely around the island in great numbers, meaning many tourists flock to the island to witness this feline takeover. Now, an island which most certainly is not visited by humans in such numbers is Ramri Island in Myanmar, which has been taken over by a very different type of animal. The animal is certainly not as friendly or perhaps cute as our previous. So, during World War II, British forces were fighting the Japanese on the ground in Myanmar, which at the time was British Burma. The Brits won the battle and forced around 1,000 Japanese troops to retreat to Ramtree Island in the west of the country. However, little did these injured
They probably
and
died
weakened
down.
Japanese troops know that they'd be
Like
retreating
they
into
died
a heavily
down, a
densely
couple of generations, they would
populated
just die down,
crocodile-infested
and then it would
mangrove
probably
region.
just stabilize.
Although numbers are unreliable and quite unknown, it's believed that the majority of the soldiers were killed and eaten by the crocs. This event is often cited as being perhaps the single most deadliest crocodile attack in history. Alright, let's now move on to a more light-hearted island. Well, that's if you can even call it that. So this is Rockall Islet, found in the northeast Atlantic Ocean, and believe it or not, there is great controversy over the ownership of this barren rock. But why exactly? What importance does it have? Well, the uninhabited granite islet has competing territorial claims by the UK, Ireland and Denmark. Basically, whoever owns this rock has exclusive rights in the surrounding waters, extending up to 200 nautical miles. This would provide control over valuable resources such as gas, oil and fishing rights. The UK annexed the rock in 1955 as it was unclaimed at the time. However, this annexation isn't recognised by Ireland or Denmark, hence the territorial disputes. This is Henderson Island, one of the most remote places on Earth. It is uninhabited and belongs to the Pitcairn Island group, an overseas territory of the UK. At first glance, it looks like a pretty nice tropical island with white sand and palm trees, right? However, if you add the word trash to the end of your Google search, it reveals the real reason why I've mentioned it in today's video. Due to the isolated geographical position that the island finds itself in, it accumulates a lot of trash that's been transported across the planet by the currents of the oceans. Add this to the fact that the island is uninhabited and extremely hard to access, it means that no one is there to clean up the mess. Unfortunately, resulting in the beaches of the island being swarmed with all kinds of plastic from around the world. Our next island thankfully is inhabited and doesn't have the same trash problem. However, they do have a very different problem, a problem that could potentially destroy the island and the people living there. So this is Aogashima Island in Japan. Similar to our previous island, it is very remote. It is found some
Is this worth stopping your video over?
Oh!
Holy shit, oh my god.
What happened?
I think because of the bag.
The baby monkey jumped on you.
Yeah.
Did it touch you?
Yeah.
Where?
I don't know.
Why is she freaking out?
Oh!
What a pussy, dude. She literally goes, that this shows like women, like in their most natural, most vulnerable state, immediately runs screaming to the man. Yeah, he literally got
What happened?
She's like, I don't know, hold me, protect me, be a big strong man for me, please.
I think because of the bag.
The baby monkey jumped on you.
Yeah.
Did it touch you?
Yeah.
Where?
I don't.
Please. She's like ready to just rip out, suck on my titties, make me feel better.
No.
Oh!
You dumb bitch. Daddy, please be strong.
350 kilometers directly
I
south
bet he got
of
the
Tokyo
best
in the
blowjob ever that
Philippine Sea.
night.
What makes the island so special
Nah,
is
probably
that
not.
it is
She probably-
volcanic,
yeah,
and
nah,
within the
she's-
volcanic
nah,
caldera
he
is where
didn't.
the island's 170 or so population lives. The last eruption took place in 1785, and ever since the volcano has lay relatively dormant, although still officially classed as active. Now, there are plans in place if the volcano does erupt, which mainly consists of transporting its entire population across the nearby islands via boat and helicopters. As the island is made up out of volcanic soil and found in a tropical region, it is covered with lush green vegetation, subtropical plants, and has steep cliffs with incredible ocean views. The only thing that keeps this place off most people's
It reminds me of Scared Straight. Remember that show? They put like teenagers in front of jail and to jail, and they show them like real criminals. Like, yeah, I'm gonna make you my girlfriend in prison, you know. And then she got like, that's what happened to her, dude.
radars is the extreme remoteness of it, meaning tourists very rarely visit. Next up, we have the Isle of Sark, an island found within the Channel Islands just off the coast of France, in between Jersey and Guernsey. Although being relatively close to France, the island belongs to the UK, although it is self-governing. Now, the island is rather tranquil and picturesque. It's very green and hilly. In the summer especially, it's a very nice place to be.
How did they
But
get
why
raped?
is the island made today's video? As nice as it looks, there's nothing eye-catchingly stand out about it, right?
It's not like they had to spend a night in
One thing in particular
there.
that makes the island quite unique. Cars are outlawed on the island. The population of 500 or so primarily move around the island by either walking or cycling. There is also horse and carriage too.
They're not mine.
The ban has been in place since 1905 and was implemented to preserve its natural
They
beauty,
did?
maintain its
Nice,
historical
dude.
character, and minimize
They're all
environmental
black and
impacts.
gay anyway.
Now, with the island being small, narrow, and quite hilly, roads, cars, and traffic wouldn't be suitable on such an island, meaning the ban makes complete sense. Travelling across the world over to the Tasman Sea, we arrive at our next island, Ball's Pyramid. So Ball's Pyramid is found off the east coast of Australia and is home to the tallest volcanic stack on Earth, which measures some 572 metres high, giving this incredible looking view. The island was discovered in 1788, but it wasn't for almost 100 years later that any human would step foot onto it, primarily due to its remoteness and the roughness of the seas that surround it. The island itself is quite barren and almost void of plant life due to the extreme steepness and harsh environment. Speaking of barren, next up is an island with that exact name, Barren Island, found in the Indian Ocean. Now, other than being a rather spectacular looking place, what makes the island so special? Well, it's believed to be the only active volcano on the Indian subcontinent. The island is found within the Andaman Sea, a couple of 100 kilometers west of Myanmar. Being found within the Andaman Islands, the region belongs to India. So the volcano has erupted 4 times since 1991, with its most recent being in 2005. This is believed to have been triggered by the 2004 Sumatra Boxing Day earthquake. Of course, no one lives on the island, nor is anyone permitted to visit.
What
The
are they
island is
complaining
only
about
home to a
now?
few species of animals such as goats and some rodents. The waters surrounding the island, however, are teeming with life due to the constant geothermal activity. Now, whilst we're in the Andaman Islands,
Dude, $1,000 is a lot of money if you're black and unemployed, dude. You gotta remember that.
it'd be rude to not speak about one of the most notorious islands.
If you don't
on
have a
Earth.
job,
It's well
$1,000
documented,
is a
so
lot
let
of
me
money.
briefly mention it. So, North Sentinel Island
And
is
how are you
a
gonna
rather
be good at fighting
internet-famous
games if
island
you have
found
a
just
job?
west of the main Andaman Islands chain, and is famously home to an unknown amount of somewhat unconnected people. Estimates range from 50 to 400. The tribe who lives on the island are completely cut off from the rest of the world, and quite notoriously and understandably are very hostile to anyone who tries to visit their island.
Dude, that Jordan
Travelling
shit is so
pretty
retarded.
much to the opposite side of the world, we arrive in this kind of banana-shaped looking island in Canada called Sable Island. When you think of islands and Canada, you most likely imagine barren, freezing cold, lifeless landscapes like what you'd see on Devon Island, the world's largest uninhabited island. Sable Island, however, doesn't really fit that description, as it's an island that's relatively green and has pristine white sand beaches. The unique part about the island is that there are 500 free-roaming horses that have essentially taken over. The official population of the island is 0, however at least 6 people do live there year-round, primarily meteorologists. This number can rise to as high as 50 during the summer months when scientific groups visit. The island sits around 300 kilometers east of Halifax,
What do you do
Nova
out there,
Scotia,
dude? Do
and
you have
has what
internet
is known
out
as an
there?
oceanic climate. Winter gets pretty chilly on the island, which attracts many thousands of seals to seek refuge on, giving us these incredible shots of them living in harmony
That's
with the feral
bizarre,
horses.
isn't it? Just
An
fucking
island which is certainly colder than
horses
Sable
and
is
seals.
Spitsbergen, an island part of the Svalbard archipelago in the Arctic Ocean. The climate of this island is categorized as Arctic, with cold temperatures and very strong winds. In the winter, temperatures can drop to as low as minus 40 degrees Celsius. Now, what makes the island so special is that it is one of the northernmost inhabited places on Earth. It's found so far north that in summer it sees a midnight sun, meaning there is 24 hours of daylight for months on end. The wildlife of the island is also quite spectacular, seeing reindeer, polar bears and elephant seals. However, there is one man-made structure that exceeds everything mentioned so far in terms of importance and uniqueness.
The
It is the
seed
home
vault.
to the Svalbard Seed Vault.
Yeah.
The vault is essentially a secure storage facility built to hold a vast collection of seeds from around the world. This is basically to protect biodiversity and preserve plant species in case of a global...
It didn't really go that well. I think they had two accidents. One was like an earthquake that happened, so they're like, oh shit, and then it got flooded. So they had to do like some flooding, yeah. And now it was
disaster. But why was this island
So-
in particular chosen for
I
the vault
wouldn't-
to
I
be
wouldn't
built
trust
on?
this
Well,
vault.
it's because it could be built deep within an Arctic mountain, giving natural refrigeration through permafrost. Its remote northern location also protects it from other risks such as political instability, war, and natural disasters.
Yeah,
And
except for
finally, we have Eel Malk Island, on an island found in the country of Palau. Now, the island is truly
Palau.
spectacular, especially when viewed from above. The hundreds of rock formations covered in greenery gives us these incredible views.
that's pretty neat.
But that's not why the island has made today's video. It is in fact due to the lake that exists within the island. The lake is known as Jellyfish Lake. So due to isolation, the jellyfish that inhabit the lake have over time lost their ability to sting, meaning it is completely safe to jump into the water and swim amongst them. With
bizarre.
no natural predators, the jellyfish's numbers have skyrocketed throughout time, meaning they absolutely dominate the lake. So there we have it, some
That's
interesting
weird.
and sometimes quite bizarre islands from around the world.
It's like micro, what's it called? Like a microbiology nigga. Fuck you, nigger. What do you want? Huh? What do you want, nigger? Hello? How's it going? Oh, to the person. I'm streaming right now, dude. You wanna watch? I'm literally online on the internet right now. Fuck, I hate this. Shut the fuck up, nigger. Try leg. Let's try leg. Let's focus on this instead. ESP Disruptor. Who says that? I feel something Magneto. That's like Magneto. You know? You know, remember Magneto? Of course you remember. You know. You know. This is not where I wanted to go. Fuck you know. What even happened? What do you mean? Oh, Burger Trip was beautiful. Was a beautiful disaster. I bet it's something really white, some real American. Like, I was really inconvenient. My nigger got specked, and my specked and my nigger. You know, I got my money on my mom. Yeah. Shut the fuck up. I did it. There you go. Here we go. Here we go. Oh my, they're Jewish. I bet they're French, like French American Jew, dude. Like they're like part French Jew and part American, so they're like 100% Jew. I hate these. Yeah, royalty music, royalty free music.
Alright, hi, we're in Bergen. Woo!
Shut the
We're
fuck
gonna
up!
start this vlog off.
I knew it. You just had to start strong. Like there was no need for you to go woo. But that's just women. Like oh, you know.
Another run. So let's show you a bit around Bergen. Woo! Ah!
Stop doing that. It's annoying. Fucking hell, this is retarded. Yeah. They're fucking fit though. They seem to be like people who work out a bunch. Because they had like very defined muscles, you know. I just want to let you know they're gone now. They're gone. Because they're gone now. They're gone now. They took them away last summer. They're gone, I think. Or they're still there, maybe. I don't know. And there's a bunch of gay shit in my city, dude. I told you about the buses, right? They're gay as fuck too. But yeah, having a gay crosswalk is fucking awful. Lol, gay? Gay? Lol? Yeah, it's pretty gay. It's mega gay, dude. It's a permanently gay part of the street. It's absolutely unhinged. It's fucking ass. It's
Look at that, we just finished our run. Off to another hike. Our first hike. of our trip.
What? What happened? What is this channel, dude? What's the disaster? It's literally just, yeah, it's just you fucking walking on. We're 2 minutes in, I have no idea what the fuck you guys are doing. I guess it's just like a fucking hiking channel? Son of a bitch, dude. That is sick. That is the craziest shit I've ever seen in my entire goddamn life. That is crazy, bro. What? Yo, what the fuck? Dude, that is sick. It's wild, dude. adding a rain effect, or is it actually raining? What is it? Why is it just music? It's just music. God damn it, dude.
She's the goat.
Oh my god, back to this again.
Yeah.
Oh, bitch. Oh my god.
6:20 a.m. train from Bergen to go to Voss. Then from Voss, so we hung out in Voss. It was super nice. From Voss, we took a bus all the way to Flam when we were supposed to get off in Gunvang. I was sleeping, but I literally she was stopped up in Flam where we were supposed to end up anyways.
Oh my god, dude, I can't. I can't. I really tried. I'm sorry, Chloe. I tried. Who the fuck are you? I'm so confused. Professional soccer player? That would explain why she's so fucking fit.
Since we were 11 years old, and we're best friends, and this is actually
Oh yeah, it's good. And no, it just had a little bit.
Fucking whore. People, give it away, give it away, give it away now. Small, blah, 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 blah. What's the song called?
East Brother Light Station. This tiny remote island is home to one of the oldest continuously operating lighthouses in the greater San Francisco Bay. And for a little more than a year, this woman lived there, completely rent-free.
Sunflowers were here, my herbs and spices were here, my corn and squash. I really had like a full garden.
In this video, we're heading to East Brother with Desiree Hevereau, who you might recognize from previous videos here on World of Nuance. We're going to explore the history of this little-known Bay Area landmark and East Brother Light Station as a fully functioning bed and breakfast, with 5 bedrooms for guests to choose from. At more than 150 years old, the light station continues to live on as a vital part of Bay Area maritime history. It's not hard to understand that
blah blah, dude. Holy shit.
Due to
if you can get the ways and means to get your own private island, it's well worth it.
Yo. Thought this video would be interesting, but it wasn't.
Really, clearly, we've got some repairs to do.
Diving! Oh, maritime history, dude. Let me tell you something. I got bread in my basket and basket on my bread, and I just got an ornament. Think about it. Just think about it. Man, look at that, dude. That looks sick. Gary's place. Yo, Gary's place looks sick, dude. I'd hang out at Gary's place. This is Epstein. Yeah, dude, Gary's place looks sick. And I take the sip of the one and say, yeah. Dude, Gary's place, dude, bro. Yo, Gary's got it made. With a hood, you know, Lurgan's life, or whatever it was. Where's Patty Epstein? Hey, I'm Ralph Epstein. I'm his less successful brother. This is like a guest house. I'm just gonna pretend, but I've seen enough of these videos to know what I say. Oh, so I want to incorporate nature and architecture one in one to make not impose on nature, but rather adapt around nature. As we come in through the diamond-shaped door, we're greeted by a warm, cozy second guest house overlooking the lake. The bright interior, the natural sunshine, really take advantage of it, blah 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 blah. I'm pretty sure that's what it's saying right now. Not even saying anything, just playing music. That's a nice guest house though, huh? And again, my the philosophy of not imposing on nature, but incorporating. He's French now, not what was it? Oh yes, so I like decorating funded nature. I particularly remember one morning, you wake up and thought, this place, I should name it after Gary Summer, very voice character. Here you see I use a natural stone around the shape to again not so much to incorporate. You see the same thing over here. I don't know why he's French all of a sudden. Hey, very nice. Concrete building in there. This is the third guest house. Gary's place is weird because there's like He's just showing like random shit that he set up. What is this, dude? I invent new size for bed. A quadruple king setter, you know? Morbidly obese king, XX king, American XL shape. Yeah, but like so far we've only seen buildings, you know what I'm saying? Like just bedrooms, you know, that's what I'm trying to say. Oh, come with me, we take a ride on a golf cart trip. I show Gary Main building, very nice. Here you practice yoga, meditation. And now it's back to, oh, this place. My grandfather once said to me, Xing Chong Chinaman. And it really stuck with me. This is talking bullshit. Dude.
But also in the sugar land that I have inherited.
I see basically what I said, right? So I thought to myself, what better way to honor the sugar rice granddad by making congestible Iron Gate Tekken tournament. I make Shangsung Island for you, granddad. Here you see sugarcane plantation. When I was a kid, I climb up there and say, tree is growing through the roof. And I decided I will make tree around the roof. And this is baseline of my architecture. Now he's gonna talk more about his childhood. I got big ears now because I'm old.
The biggest plot twist in Prometheus was the realization that the engineers hated humanity. However, this may be a complete misunderstanding of the engineers' intentions. In fact, they may have loved humans just in a way that we simply cannot comprehend. What looks like death through mutation from a human perspective can be salvation or divine rebirth inside a radical human perspective. In fact, they may have loved humans just in a way that we simply cannot comprehend. What looks like
what is this? What is
death
this?
through mutation from a
what is this? What is that? Was that an engineer reborn? What is that? What
simply
zombie?
Cannot comprehend.
What zombie? What zombie alien is this? Huh? What is that? I need to know because I've never seen that before, and it looks kind of creepy looking. I want to know.
Death through mutation from a human perspective can be salvation or divine rebirth inside a radically alien religion. In fact, if we carefully examine Prometheus, engineers did not want to destroy humanity, but quite the opposite. They actually wanted to upgrade and transform humans into higher level species, the Deacons. To them, the Deacon isn't a monster, it's the pinnacle of creation, the final form of being. And this has been right under our noses all this time. The quasi-religious reverence to the black goo, the Deacon deity, and even the offspring creature in Alien Romulus all point to the fact that the engineers viewed black goo mutations as a sacred rebirth. If the goo was merely a weapon, why surround it with worship, symbols, and ritual placement? So let's carefully examine all the clues in the movie that were telling us all along that the engineers did not actually hate humans. The opening scene clearly establishes that the creation of new life requires the sacrifice of the old, which is exactly how humanity was created, through black goo-induced sacrifice. So from the very beginning it's hinted that the black goo is a powerful, life-altering pathogen that does not kill but transforms. Later in the movie, the crew finds a room with a giant head statue, a monument the engineers revered. But one of the most important aspects of the statue is that it clearly portrays the engineer in the process of mutation. Therefore, it is actually a shrine to mutation itself, which for the engineers was sacred. Why would you build a shrine to something you consider purely evil? The head has clear spots and lesions of the black goo pathogen, portraying the exact same mutation that the decapitated head they discovered went through. The visual match is too precise to be accidental. These mutations might seem hostile and aggressive, but for the engineers, they are sacred rituals they believe in. And to them, they are not invasive, but good and benevolent. In their dark worldview, violent transformations aren't automatically bad. They are a path to salvation. But most importantly, behind the head, there's a giant mural with the deacon in a crucifix pose. They weren't scared of that creature, they worshipped it. However, the mural goes even further. Most people miss that the mural also portrays facehuggers impregnating engineers, indicating the creation process for the deacon, their deity. Facehuggers and impregnation imagery suggests that the method of creating the deacon is part of their sacred narrative. The mural isn't just devotional art, it's the creation myth. And that reframes the horror completely. What we interpret as a grotesque death, impregnation, chest-burster birth, and the body torn open could be the ultimate rebirth in the engineer theology. A violent and invasive metamorphosis that turns the individual into something closer to godhood. The bowl from the beginning of the movie is placed right in front of the deacon mural, further proving deacon's deity status. Therefore, the most important takeaway that most people miss or misinterpret is that for the engineers, being impregnated and giving birth to a deacon is a good thing. It's a divine rebirth into their god and could even be considered a way to transcend into heaven or an afterlife. The black goo urns in front of the deacon mural clearly indicate that they were a way to summon the engineer's god, the deacon. The rest of Prometheus, Covenant, and Romulus seem to eerily align with this theory. In a deleted scene with Vickers, Yannick says that the temple is probably an engineer bioweapon facility, which could be a classic misdirection in the movie. It's a perfect example of how humans project their own perspective onto completely different, literally alien worlds. It's actually another form of hubris to think that an alien civilization that is billions of years older than humanity can be understood through a human perspective. The crew completely ignores the possibility that the engineers could have had a radically different paradigm about life, creation, and rebirth. Even David projects his own perspective about life and creation onto the engineers, dismissing the possibility that they had a fundamentally different worldview. In a religion of bioengineering and mutations, what humans call a weapon could be the engineer's most sacred ritual. Therefore, with this information in mind, the engineer's attack and the ending of the movie present themselves in a completely different light. When the engineer awakens, he first looks pleased and benevolent, but as soon as he touches David, you can clearly see a subtle change in his demeanor. The engineer realizes that he has to upgrade humanity before it merges with robots and AI. To him, artificial life is not progress, it's contamination of the lineage he intended to perfect. Therefore, by rushing to launch the ship with the pathogen to Earth, the engineer wants to transform humanity into their divine deities, the deacons, rather than destroy it. What we interpret as an extinction attempt could be, in the engineer's eyes, a mass ascension. And this was clear in the movie all along. In Prometheus, the black goo never killed anybody directly, but transformed them into xenomorph-like creatures. And it's a pretty consistent pattern. The black goo mutates, but it doesn't kill. The pathogen was transforming Holloway, but he decided to terminate himself by walking into the fire, so we'll never know what the final result of Holloway's mutation could have been. The black goo did not kill Fifield either, it made him xenomorph-like, amplifying his hostile and erratic personality. Even in Alien Romulus, after injecting herself with the black goo, Kay gave birth to an engineer hybrid, the Offspring. These effects further prove that the engineers wanted to transform humanity into something they considered a higher life forms, deacons, or even engineer hybrids like the Offspring. Therefore, transformation is the goal, but the horror is the side effect from the human point of view. From that twisted perspective, engineers did not hate humans. They might have even loved them in a diabolic sense. The engineers could have been growing or cultivating humanity as perfect hosts to resurrect their deities. A farmer doesn't hate the crop, he cultivates it for harvest, even if the harvest is violent. Obviously, from the human perspective, we don't want to be transformed or upgraded through such violent and invasive methods. But from the engineers' perspective, they were doing humanity a favor by turning us into their gods. To us, it's desecration, but to the engineers, it's baptism. And this is actually the same thing we do with computer programs. We upgrade them. We upgrade the old software or the operating system, transforming the old version into the new one. So the old state doesn't survive, it becomes something else. This analogy was perfectly exemplified in David. Just like David 8 was the latest Android model, the engineers wanted to upgrade humanity according to their newest design. So in that sense, the engineer's urgency isn't I must punish humans, but I must upgrade them before they become something unrecognizable. The engineer rushed to launch the ship because humanity was probably the best host, the best candidate to resurrect their deacon gods. As we saw in Alien Covenant, the Black Goo simply mummified the beings on Planet 4. They were far from ideal hosts for the engineer's designs. Whether they were another engineer creation or part of the same race as the LV-223 engineer, they could not spawn the engineer deity, the deacon. So if the engineers wanted their god to return, they needed the right biological key. The only reason that at the end of Prometheus the engineer was able to give birth to the deacon is because humans were involved in the mutation chain through the trilobite impregnation. The trilobite was Elizabeth Shaw's baby. So the mutation chain only leads to deacons when human biology enters the equation. This proves that human DNA is special and has some unique components that allow the emergence of engineer gods. Therefore, it was foolish to view the engineers through a human-centric lens and assume that the engineers hated humanity, when in reality they wanted human race to go through a divine rebirth, resurrecting as deacons that they considered the pinnacle of creation. In other words, the engineers did not hate humanity, they wanted to upgrade us into their deacon deities. And that love is exactly as terrifying as it sounds. Thank you guys for watching. Obviously, the engineers' intentions are very ambiguous in the movie, and it's almost impossible to decipher their theology and their actual goals. However, it seems more and more likely that the engineers did not simply hate humans in the human sense. They were cultivating and growing humans for some dark purpose, which could very well be the resurrection of their god.
Yeah. But and then like the alien could adapt to any life form, remember? So yeah, it makes sense. I dig it.
So leave your
Dum 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 ba dum 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 dum. Lord Shax. Oi. Dum, 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 dum. Stitches. Pop, beep, pop, Lotus Meep, Lotus Meep. Pop, 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 Lotus Meep.
Both RTX mirrors add
Lotus Meep, Lotus Meep. Tubbs the magical jelly. Oh. Oh yeah, Gary's place. What's Gary doing, dude, huh? Yeah, but where does Gary live, dude? It's just bedrooms. Gary, you're a fucking nigger, Gary. I don't trust you, dude. Gary, you need to smuggle a lump of whiskey, dude. You need to get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
The Arecibo Observatory received a strange radio signal from the vicinity of the star Ross 128. It disappeared immediately. That same year, a rocky Earth-like exoplanet was discovered in that region. A suspicious coincidence. But the signal vanished as if someone had deliberately turned it off. Only to turn it back on 150 years later. Flight to a new Earth.
Dun, 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 dun. What the hell is this, dude?
The year is 2167. The signal is coming from the same place, from somewhere around the red dwarf Ross 128. All the world's telescopes are focused on this patch of sky. Almost immediately, a second rocky exoplanet is discovered near the star. It is confirmed that the signal is coming from there. Data from the analysis begins to arrive. The planet is slightly larger than Mars. Gravity is half that of our planet. The atmosphere is almost Earth-like, 25% oxygen. This was an unsettling realization. Humanity clearly understood they were not alone in the universe. The planet was named accordingly, Elpida, which means hope in Greek. An unknown new world lies 11 light years from Earth. But humanity of the 22nd century has already invented and tested a thermonuclear rocket engine. A grand construction project began at the Lagrange point L1 of the Earth-Moon system, funded by all the countries of the world. After 30 years, 3 gigantic cylindrical spacecraft began to shine in the space shipyards. Each one is 3,300 meters, 10,800 feet in length. It's like 4 Burj Khalifas stacked on top of each other. The diameter of each is 700 meters, around 2,300 feet. They were named Pinta, Nina, and Santa Maria after the legendary caravels of Christopher Columbus, which discovered the New World. The ships are fully autonomous and independent of each other. There are entire cities with residential modules, laboratories, sports facilities, and even parks inside.
That what I call
There
it?
are also mysterious rooms marked "No Entry" with strange labels. The thermonuclear engines can accelerate the ships to 7.33% of the speed of light. This will allow them to reach their destination in 150 years. Each ship has 2,000 people on board, selected from the best in their fields. Experienced pilots and astronauts, astronomers, nuclear physicists, technicians, doctors, psychologists, teachers, and even musicians and comedians. With their families, they recreate a society as close as possible to life on Earth. September 1st, 2197, is the day when the greatest expedition starts. The bright bluish lights of the nuclear propulsion engines of the Pinta, Nina, and Santa Maria are piercing the darkness of space. The acceleration of the ships is increasing, reaching just under 10 meters per second squared. Objects and people are pressed against surfaces with a force equal to Earth's gravity. This is how artificial gravity is created. To reach the target speed of 7.33% of the speed of light, the ships need to accelerate for 26 days. On the 35th hour of the flight, the ships cross the orbit of Mars. Distance covered, 79 million kilometers, 49 million miles. Doctors and psychotherapists continuously monitor the health of each person. At the beginning of the third day of the flight, the ships enter the asteroid belt. Distance from Earth, 149 million kilometers, about 92 million miles. The optimal trajectory was calculated in advance to eliminate even the slightest chance of collision. But at such speeds, even a collision with a grain of sand could have severe consequences. Therefore, each ship is equipped with multiple levels of protection. Magnetic shields at the front deflect charged particles and small debris, while lasers instantly vaporize asteroid fragments. In addition, scout drones patrol the area around each ship, detecting threats in advance.
The scout drones.
On the fifth day, the ships cross Jupiter's orbit at a speed of about 3,500 kilometers a second, just over 1% of the speed of light. Humanity had never dreamed of such speeds before. Gradually, everything starts to fall into place. People begin their education and research activities. On the 11th day, the ships cross Neptune's orbit, the most distant planet in the solar system. Post-launch system checks are completed. Special training sessions for different age groups begin. Social services are working to maintain the mental health of the people on board. The first cultural events take place. A pop concert
But
and a
are they supposed to
contemporary art
fucking
exhibition.
reproduce? Because like, well, how long did it take to go to another planet? 150 years or some shit? So you need to fuck. Why is
On
everyone's
this day,
dead?
the target speed, 7.33% of the speed of light, will be reached and many things will change. Everyone is getting ready for this moment. Everything is being thoroughly checked. Anything that can be secured is secured. Anything that can be stowed away is stowed. All communication channels have announced a full operational readiness. Everyone takes their designated position and strapping themselves tightly against the wall. The main engines are shut down. The ships continue to move by inertia, and the people experience weightlessness. The rotational engines are activated, gradually spinning the ships around their central axis. The rotation creates artificial gravity through centrifugal force. When the rotation reaches 1.6 revolutions per minute, a familiar 1g gravity is achieved. But now, what was once the walls becomes the floor and ceiling for the rest of the journey. New, unfamiliar Coriolis effects have emerged. Liquids flow in strange trajectories, and falling objects move differently. The rotational engines are turned off, as they are no longer needed. the ships continue to spin on their own, in accordance with the law of conservation of angular momentum. Gradually, everyday life and the social structure begin to settle. Thanks to their modular design, the residential capsules are quickly reconfigured to adapt to the new direction of gravity. Technical and communal spaces are restructured semi-automatically. Schools, hospitals, and production facilities resume operation. Life thrives on every level of the spacecraft. Each level is a cylinder nested within the previous one. The further you go inward toward the central axis of the ship, the weaker the artificial gravity on each level. There is no gravity at the very center. This is where the shuttles needed after arrival are stored. Intermediate levels are used to study the effects of low gravity on microorganisms, plants and animals, and even humans. People experiment on liquids, gases, and plasma. Large spaces on the ships are designated as rehabilitation centers, where patients receive therapy and recover after injuries or surgeries, with partial gravity used to minimize strain on the body. 1 year after launch. 693 billion kilometers, about 430 billion miles, or approximately 0.07 light-years from Earth. Multi-level plantations have been established, successfully using aeroponics, a plant-growing technology that utilizes a soilless air environment. Each ship has a seed bank of cultivated plants and a separate DNA bank of plants that can be used if the seed reserve is lost. Additionally, a DNA bank of certain animal species is stored. No one knows what flora and fauna will be on Elpida, so there is a need to ensure the future colony's development. Microbiologists monitor the epidemiological situation. Bacteria can evolve quite rapidly in a closed environment. Even the most harmless can mutate into deadly threats. Microbiologists proactively find ways to combat new strains. This is especially important in light of the upcoming event. The expedition is preparing for the birth of the first interstellar child. After the first pregnancy was registered, the Genesis protocol was activated. The crew was
Did they have,
commanded
like,
to gradually reduce the ship's
like, did
rotation
they task
speed
people to get
lower
horny
the
and stuff,
artificial
like,
gravity.
you know?
By the time the child is born, it will
How
match
do
the
they
gravity
date on
of
this
Elpida. The lighting spectrum inside the ships is gradually changing. Daylight will no longer be the same as on Earth. New generations will live in conditions similar to those on Elpida to adapt to them. Toward the end of the first year of the flight, joyful news spread throughout the ships. A healthy child was born. The population of new humanity is now 6,001. The first generation born on the ship reaches school age. The first interstellar generation begins its comprehensive education. The children who embarked on the journey have grown into adults. The young assistants of the crew members have become mature, experienced specialists. The mature ones have become elderly. The first significant crew change occurs. The artificial intelligence Astra has become indispensable. It diagnoses diseases, manages the aeroponic plantations, resolves social issues, and monitors the ship's condition. The anthropomorphic robots controlled by Astra have befriended people, and many believe that they have consciousness of their own. Children are particularly convinced of this. During this period, the first death occurs. The oldest member of the expedition, a distinguished nuclear physicist, passes away at 94 years old. According to his will, his body is sent to drift in open space. A new tradition emerges in this moment. Along with the body, a capsule containing photographs and mementos belonging to the deceased is sent to drift in open space. 50 years after launch. 3.6 light-years from Earth. 7.4 light-years to Elpida. 2 generations have already been born on the ships, but they are not destined to live until arrival. They will spend their entire lives on the ships, never having seen either Earth or Elpida. Although there are still many people on board who were born on Earth, the core of the crew now consists of the spaceborne generation. Birth rates are strictly controlled to ensure genetic diversity and maintain population levels so that the life support systems can cope and there is no shortage of people. Regulations have been put in place, a minimum of 2 and a maximum of 3 children per family. Couples undergo genetic counseling before planning a pregnancy to determine genome compatibility and avoid potential risks. Children must be born evenly over time, in different periods, to avoid large groups of children of the same age. This ensures an even distribution of age groups and prevents the overuse of resources. Children are born naturally, but the ship has a supply of frozen sperm and eggs, as well as artificial womb technologies that can be used as a last resort. A pivotal date, 5.5 light-years from Earth, and the same distance to Elpida. The expedition has completed exactly half of its journey. At this milestone, it becomes clear that the birth control protocol has been justified. The population of each ship has grown within reasonable limits by 500 people. Now, each ship has approximately 1,400 adults, around 500 children, and about 600 elderly people. Every 10 years, about half of the children become adults, and a third of the adults become elderly. Approximately 33% of people aged 50 to 80 die every 10 years. Thus, generational change occurs naturally, without any anomalies. The average life expectancy of space travelers at this point is 77.5 years. Some passengers and crew members who launched from Earth are still alive. 100 years after launch, 7.3 light-years from Earth, 3.7 light-years to Elpida. The era of stability. Unique traditions have formed on board each ship. Interstellar historians become a thing, documenting the history of the society on board. 10.9 light-years from Earth. The era of new humanity. Over 149 years, the 5th and 6th generations of people born in space have come into this world. Preparations for arrival have begun. As they draw closer to their new home, new humanity has begun to forget its cradle, Earth. Only the crew and the scientific community regularly receive faint signals from Earth. For objects moving at different speeds, time passes differently. The higher the speed, the more noticeable the difference, especially over many years. Therefore, the time on the ships differs from that on Earth. During the 100 years of the journey, 3 months less time has passed for the expedition participants compared to people on Earth. During this time, legends have emerged on board the spacecraft, particularly around those restricted areas where entry is forbidden. These sections are occasionally visited by people in uniforms that conceal their faces. Some say that there is a weapon storage in case of an alien attack. Others believe there are wealthy people and politicians in cryosleep, waiting to be awakened upon arrival. Over this period, low gravity has altered people's physiology due to the much lower stress on their spines, bones, and muscles. The average height is now 220 centimeters, 7 feet and above. Posture is more upright, muscle mass is reduced. People's figures have become slimmer, and their gait is lighter and more fluid. Genetic modifications have allowed the population to adapt maximally to life on the new planet. Enlarged eye slits, large pupils, and slightly larger eyeballs provide better vision in dim light. An unexpected side effect is that irises have become emerald green or golden yellow. New humanity is now preparing for arrival. A small reddish dot is visible through the portholes to the naked eye. It's getting closer and closer. Less than 1 Earth month remains until arrival. Now, the ships face 25 days of continuous deceleration. Once again, just as 150 years ago, the entire population of the ships is busy checking their assigned areas. Everything must be stowed away or secured. Then, everyone straps themselves against the wall. The rotational engines are activated in reverse thrust. The rotation gradually stops. Weightlessness returns. The maneuvering thrusters are fired. They turn the ships so that their sterns face the direction of travel. The main engines are activated. They now work as brakes, once again creating artificial gravity. But this time, it's on horizontal decks, not around a circumference. Once more, the walls and floors have swapped places. Meanwhile, the reddish dot grows larger, transforming into a sun. The day of arrival has finally come. A blue dot becomes visible through the observation windows. The displays show enlarged images of it. One can already distinguish land, a large ocean, clouds. On the surface, a strange mixture of black and purple is visible. What could it be? An hour before arrival, the source of the signal that summoned humanity on this journey is discovered. It's an orbital beacon left by some unknown entity. The ships enter geosynchronous orbit and initiate rotation.
Yeah, imagine there's no one there.
And walls
it's just
to
like,
switch
lol,
places
gotcha
again.
prank, you know?
Probes are launched from the ships, landing in different regions of the planet for initial exploration. The first images and videos start coming in. An anomalous concentration of neon in the atmosphere transforms the rays of the sun. The sky and clouds shimmer with shades of orange and crimson. Due to tidal locking, the planet always faces its star with the same side. As a result, one pole is constantly warm, while the other is cold. But the greenhouse effect mitigates the temperature difference. Precise data on the atmosphere's composition is coming in. Good news, this air is breathable. A detailed map of the terrain is created. The landing site for the shuttles has been determined, a vast plain. A shuttle descends and lands from each ship. Rovers with crews disembark. For the first time, humans set foot on the surface of a planet in another star system. A carbon monolith is unloaded from one of the shuttles, engraved with the names of the expedition members who did not live to see this day. A moment of silence. The shuttles disperse to explore the planet. Here, vast areas are covered with dense and lush forests, featuring giant trees over 100 meters, over 330 feet tall. The leaves take on the most exotic shapes, ranging from broad and large to spiral-shaped. Nearly all of them are dark purple. In the perpetual twilight, the local flora creates its own artificial lighting. Through
So it's like just better than
bioluminescence,
Earth, or just
bluish
in every
mushroom-like
single way,
growths
huh?
glow on the trees.
It's
Greenish
just
slime
bullshit.
on the leaves emits light, and even the veins of the leaves give off a soft blue glow. Many peculiar plants with small, smooth, almost mirror-like surfaces
Where the
reflect
where the
light,
animals at?
creating a mosaic of black obsidian. It becomes clear after further studies, this planet harbors only plant life and microorganisms.
Really?
And we can live here. But questions remain. After 150 years of travel, 3 colonial ships
150
enter
years
the
of
orbit
cocksucking.
of planet Elpida. Their mission is to create a new home for humanity. Colonists born and raised in space are finally
are you
setting
there?
foot on the surface of a new world. The planet's atmosphere is breathable, the climate is stable, and there are no predators. The bioluminescent forests look enchanting, yet only a few understand that this world's outer beauty and peace may hide deadly threats. This is especially clear to those who bear the weight of the entire expedition's fate on their shoulders. Eliza Healy, the mission's chief medical officer, David Grass, the chief biologist, and Rachel Lee, the admiral commanding the entire expedition's space fleet. Day 1. Although Elpida's atmosphere has proven completely breathable, stepping outside without sealed suits is strictly prohibited. People exit the ships through a special airlock, where everyone undergoes disinfection with chemicals and intense ultraviolet light. This strict isolation is set for a minimum of 30 Earth days, but it can be extended indefinitely, until David and Eliza confirm that the atmosphere is biologically safe. Only then, the colony will send a signal to Earth announcing that Elpida is habitable. Both of them feel very anxious, clearly sensing that something is off about the planet. Even as they walk, the plant's leaves seem to turn toward them, subtly following their movements. This creates a haunting feeling that someone, or something, is watching them. But who? Week 1.
Troyes. Da-da-da.
Admiral Rachel Lee and her team ventured deep into the jungle to explore the area.
Yeah, come this way.
The map has already been laid out
Sid.
thanks to drones and satellite imagery. Their first target is a group of strange hills that stand out against the endless forest and jungles. The journey will take 2 Earth days by rover. The team is very excited. However, as they approach the hills, their euphoria turns into an inexplicable tension. By evening, some crew members begin experiencing panic attacks. Clearly, this is no coincidence. The rover's sensors pick up strange fluctuations in the air, just below the hearing threshold. This is what causes unexplainable anxiety. After slightly adjusting the rover's anti-vibration systems and active noise cancellation, the team gradually returns to normal. But where are these fluctuations coming from? It seems the planet is far more complex than it seemed. As the second day draws to a close, an extraordinary scene unfolds before the team. It appears these are not hills, but something else entirely. Strange structures hidden among dense clusters of purple trees stand before them. The perfect geometric shapes immediately suggest an artificial origin. Massive structures covered in moss and partly buried in local soil initially seem to be made of stone, but as they scan the walls, scientists and engineers realize they are dealing with a highly complex construction of composite materials. There is no doubt about it, an advanced civilization once existed here. It appears they were the ones who left the beacon in orbit. Together with 2 assistants, Rachel Lee steps out of the rover. An overwhelming, uncontrollable sense of panic seizes them. Struggling to move, they quickly collect samples, take photos and videos, and retreat back to the rover. The rest of the team is also very tense. It seems no rover protection can shield them from the strange effects anymore. They drive away from the site at full speed. They manage to escape this time intact, but are they really unharmed? Only time will tell. 2 days later, the team returns to the main base. David and Eliza begin analyzing the samples. Examining the symbols they discovered, David hypothesizes that the structure might have served as a simple utility mechanism for an ancient society that once inhabited Elpida. Eliza, on the other hand, is skeptical of the idea that the panic attacks were triggered by the object itself. She insists it's likely just a natural reaction to the unfamiliar environment after decades spent in confined spaces. Rachel is still not convinced. She is certain the structure poses a threat.
If this is some ancient weapon or energy source, it could destroy us all. We must be cautious. I don't trust this place, but I have to explore it further. Earth may have left us in the lurch, but I won't just sit around waiting for the worst.
After checking Rachel and her team's health readings, Eliza advises them to rest in a familiar environment. Admiral Lee decides to return to the orbiting ship for a few days to see her children. Her team goes back to the ship as well. The military shares their thoughts with others on the ship. Soon, most of the crew starts to believe Earth has sent them on a doomed mission. Team members gossip about being mere guinea pigs in a grand experiment, that their mission was to see if people could survive on a foreign planet, a test of humanity's resilience. The decision seems unanimous. No one wants to send data back to Earth. They decide to keep everything that happens a secret, as if cutting themselves off from the past and becoming rightful inhabitants of this new alien world. David and Eliza disagree with the idea, hoping that the discussion will soon fizzle out. After all, future generations would surely benefit from maintaining contact with their home planet and from knowledge about new technologies. But it seems no one is listening to them anymore. Week 2.
That was and Earth can't just go like.
In the second week, the military team returns to the base.
Why is
but
there a
almost
function?
immediately, something unexpected
Why
happens.
is there a
One of the
function
soldiers
to keep
starts showing
everything
strange
secret
symptoms:
function? What?
fever, weakness, and sudden loss of coordination. Eliza tries to understand the nature of the illness, but standard tests don't detect any known pathogens. By midweek, everyone who had been near the ruins had these symptoms. The situation seems threatening. Eliza enforces strict quarantine measures for all military personnel who explored the site. Everyone on the ships follows strict quarantine guidelines as well. Eliza barely sleeps, desperately trying to understand what is happening to the people. She blames herself for not thoroughly examining the soldiers before sending them back to the ship.
The ruins might be the source. A virus might have been dormant in the soil or structures, and our intervention could have triggered it. And why are we even calling them ruins? That thing looks disturbingly intact.
Week 3. Eliza and David conduct extensive research and discover that the illness is caused by an unusual form of RNA virus adapted to the human body. The virus seems to be learning, becoming more dangerous with each new host. Meanwhile, Admiral Rachel Lee grows increasingly restless, barely eating or sleeping. Whenever her fever subsides, she wants to go back to the ruins. She starts to feel increasingly suspicious.
How long are you planning to keep us all in quarantine, Healy? We don't have time to sit idly by. I need to go back to the ruins.
Are you willing to risk lives? This virus is mutating faster than we can study it.
You're going to keep us locked up until it's time to send a signal to Earth, aren't you? Or wait, maybe you already did.
Unlike you, I'm following the protocol.
By the end of the week, dozens of colonists on the ships are infected, and the virus continues to spread. The infected exhibit severe panic attacks, skin rashes, and fever.
Well, that's quite
Week
the
4.
fever. She was glazed.
The virus takes a heavy toll on the elderly, and within a week, 5 people died from it, including Rachel's mother. Confined in quarantine, the Admiral has no chance to say goodbye. She is overwhelmed with anger, shame, and guilt as the incidence numbers continue to grow. Soon, it is discovered that Rachel's children are also infected. Each new case feels like another blow, and the virus mutates incredibly fast. Rachel repeatedly pleads to be allowed back to the ruins, convinced that the answer lies there. Eliza tries to calm her down, but each attempt only provokes the Admiral to have new outbursts of rage. Feeling the growing despair and tension, David heads into the jungle, having a premonition that the colony is not going to make it. The thought that Earth has effectively sent them to die here is haunting him. As he moves through the dense foliage, moving farther from the base, he suddenly notices something unusual. Strange mushroom-like plants growing in the shade of the trees. Using a portable bioanalyzer, he conducts a quick test and discovers something that sends him racing back to the base. He needs to confirm the findings using the stationary lab equipment. Together with Eliza, they discover that the cells of these mushroom-like organisms contain unique ribozymes, RNA molecules capable of selectively breaking down other RNA molecules, including those of the Elpidian virus. Most workload is managed by the ship's onboard AI, Astra. In a matter of days, it has analyzed billions of organic molecule combinations. Finally, its calculations find the solution: the formula for a vaccine. The virus has met a worthy adversary, and humanity now has a chance at survival. The rest is a mere technicality. The scientists synthesize the first treatment and vaccine prototypes based on Elpidian biology. A new era of disease control begins with medicines derived from Elpida's native organisms. The first batch of vaccines successfully halts the epidemic, though the situation remains unstable. The virus continues to mutate, and a new wave may come soon. But it seems the Elpidians are no longer as helpless as in the early days. Meanwhile, Rachel, who is still in quarantine, is convinced that Elpidian medicines are toxic and refuses to take them.
Oh
1
my,
month
she's an
on Elpida.
anti-vaxxer, dude.
Once again, David heads to Rachel, determined to convince her to take the medication. He himself is now doubting the necessity of sending a signal to Earth and wants to have a serious conversation with her. In a desperate attempt to reach her, he brings her own children to the compartment, who have recovered thanks to the Elpidian drugs. He expected to find Rachel in her usual spot. The excited children began knocking on the glass calling for their mother, but she wasn't there. Something went wrong. David quickly takes the crying children away, trying to hide his own shock. he makes an urgent announcement to the colonists across the ships.
This is a matter of life and death. We can't decide on sending the signal until Admiral Lee is with us.
David quickly organizes a search operation and personally sets out to look for Rachel. He suspects that her disappearance may be connected to the ruins she was so eager to revisit. Dressed in special gear and ready for whatever may come, he heads toward the ruins. An ominous silence hangs in the air near the structure, as if everything around David has paused, waiting to see his next step. His heart races and a surge of panic rises within him, yet he keeps moving forward. Making his way past the constructions, he suddenly notices something familiar on the ground. Something shiny is half buried in the dust. Yes, it is Rachel's bracelet. He slowly picks it up, and a slight tremor runs through his hand. The bracelet had always been with her, a keepsake she would never remove unless absolutely necessary. He checks the surroundings. There is no sound, no trace of where Rachel might have gone. Where could she? After landing on Alpida, the colony quickly hit its stride. The infrastructure was set up.
This guy had a whole story that he was just waiting for, so he could. Finally, my time has come. I can make my story with AI.
And research started. The planet seemed safe, almost friendly. Explorers discovered massive structures in the jungle, clearly not of natural origin. They are simply called ruins. Almost immediately, an epidemic of a local virus broke out. The infection spread quickly and was unpredictable. Chief Medical Officer Eliza Healy and local crew, and some did not get sick at all. Admiral Rachel Lee disappeared. Some suspect how serious it is.
Dun, 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 dun.
The second month, the colony survived an outbreak of an alien virus. The epidemic receded, and with that came a strange feeling, relief mixed with devastation. People were allowed to go outside without hermetic spacesuits. However, this did not bring complete freedom. Quite the contrary. Some are afraid to take off their helmets, even in the open air. A general meeting was held.
Dude,
the topic was the ruins.
This guy's just making space COVID, dude. What is this space COVID? Anti-vaxxers, and this guy's like one of them face mask niggas, dude.
Engineers and
dude,
officers
space COVID.
prepared a presentation. Fragments of records, photos, 3D models, reconstructions. Everything that had been retrieved from the expedition to the ruins. They wanted to show there was nothing mystical about it, only architecture, structure, geometry. But it did not work out that way. After the presentation, rumors began to spread throughout the base. As a result, the command decided not to discuss the ruins openly anymore. Officially, the site was not closed, but no ground missions have been sent there since Admiral Lee's disappearance. Physical contact was prohibited. Only equipment worked in the area. Astra periodically sent drones there. The recordings from them were classified for the time being. New groups of people continue to descend from orbit. The pace of infrastructure deployment is high. Assembly teams work around the clock. Residential modules are growing very quickly, but there are still not enough technicians. The living compartments are cramped but functional. The walls are covered with polymer to retain heat. The climate in the colony landing zone is similar to that on Earth, temperate and comfortable. Engineers and agronomists made their first attempts to grow something edible in the local soil. Seedlings sprout, but they grow slowly. Sometimes the plants seem to be afraid of the light and shed their shoots. Experts call this phenomenon unpredictable photosensitivity. The local jungle remains mesmerizing. Giant trees over 100 meters high, leaves of strange, truly alien shapes. Dark purple with blue glowing veins. It's beautiful, but absolutely inedible. In the first place, biologists study samples that do not show immediate toxicity. Some of them resemble fruits from Earth in appearance, but inside they have completely different chemistry. Even the texture of the pulp is unusual. Sometimes it is rubbery, sometimes it resembles wax, and sometimes it crumbles away like ash. Initial tests show that they are not poisonous, nor are they suitable for consumption, at least not yet. There are too many unknown compounds and too many strange reactions. The onboard AI Astra does not approve the consumption of any samples. It feels as if the flora itself is aware that it is being studied. Several times, the collected samples were found to have dried out or completely crumbled into dust by morning, as if protecting themselves. One of the agronomists noticed that a local plant in the isolation unit suppressed its bioluminescence when a person was nearby. As soon as the person walked away, the glow would return. It did not react to the camera recording. It was as if it sensed the presence and tried to disguise itself. Some believe that local plants may be not just living, but sensitive to observation. One of the records shows sprouts in a greenhouse slowly turning toward a technician speaking, not toward sound or a light source, but specifically toward the voice, not synthesized, not played over speakers, but live. Attempts to artificially reproduce the effect failed. There was no reaction when the record was played back. Some researchers believe that plants can sense the presence of a human and even show interest. One of the agronomists noted in a report,
Planet is a lot.
It feels as though they are listening. However, not to all of us, only to certain individuals.
Admiral Rachel Lee remains missing. Only her bracelet was found at the site of her disappearance. It is currently kept by the chief biologist, David Grass. The 4th month on Elpida. There have been no new cases of infection for over 30 days. The daily medical reports reveal no complications or relapses. Psychologists' reports note increased anxiety, declining social activity, and outbreaks of aggression in everyday situations. People began to avoid each other. In common areas, there is a tense silence. Conversations are rare and cautious. When conducting interviews, most participants avoid direct statements. Answers are fragmentary or evasive. Eliza Healy notices a pattern. Those who weren't infected start to fear and avoid those who were. People don't talk about it directly. But Eliza and psychologists see it. Healy realizes that the virus has affected the behavior of those who were infected. It changed people. Some have developed new abilities, intuition, and reactions. Even their gaze has changed. It's impossible to overlook. Some participants describe a peculiar feeling when in visual contact with those who have recovered. He looks through you, as if he was waiting for a signal. Cameras have recorded a recurring motor pattern. Those who have recovered often make micro-movements of their hands and eyes in a specific sequence. This pattern was not previously observed in healthy individuals. Meanwhile, David, the expedition's chief biologist, conducts his research.
Dude, they got autism?
He examines what is going on in their minds, comparing records and observing how their brains have changed since the illness. He was searching for a threat. To him, it all seems much more frightening. Eliza and David both get that the virus has done something to people. Eliza thinks it could be the next stage of evolution. David, however, sees it as the end of humanity. He's worried that this is the start of something dangerous, and if they don't start isolating these people and watching them closely, it might be too late.
Yes.
Eliza disagrees. There is no direct evidence of a threat. and it is unfair to isolate people just because they have changed.
You want to research them. I want to make sure they are still human.
I think this is the next stage in evolution. So far, there is no evidence that any of them pose a threat. We can't isolate people just because they are different.
When the evidence turns up, there will be no one left to present it to anyone.
Wow, spooky.
Eliza looks at the map, trying for the 1000th time to comprehend this strange world. Elpida is in tidal clocking. One side of the planet always faces the star. The other is in eternal darkness and cold. There are no changing seasons or cycles of day and night here. The most comfortable area for living is the Terminator Zone, a strip around the equator. Eternal tender sunset, balmy air, breathtakingly beautiful nature. This is where the first landings took place. This is where the colony is being built. Areas farther toward the pole on the bright side are also habitable, albeit hot. But the closer it gets to the edge of the dark side, the more uncertainty and anxiety arise. The dark side has hardly been explored. Only rare automatic probes, launched in the early days after arrival, have been sent there. They transmitted images that no one dared to comment on. Bioluminescent glare in the atmosphere, inexplicable shadows. The most suspicious were the signs of movement, which have not yet been confirmed. Healy knows that one day they will have to go there before something comes to them from the other side. But so far, the biggest challenge lies not outside the colony, it's inside. Gradually, a colloquial term, the others, took hold within the colony. It was used to refer to those who had contracted the Elpidian virus and changed. At first, they were simply avoided, but then they began to be resettled, at first on a voluntary basis. Then it became recommended. Officially, this was done to ensure psychological comfort. Unofficially, to allow the rest to sleep peacefully. Conflicts became a common occurrence. The reports were increasingly filled with mentions of clashes, threats, and group isolation. A gap began to grow between people. On one side were those who considered themselves still human.
Get out of here,
On the other side,
explorer.
the others. The others hardly ever complained about anything. They didn't argue, and they slept very little. When the rest of the people were asleep, the others would go outside. They didn't make any noise. They didn't disturb anything. They just stood there or wandered around, as if listening to something. No one knew why they went outside or what they were trying to hear. Sometimes they gathered together and just stood there. They didn't talk. It seemed as if they were having some different kind of conversation, without words. There were weird incidents. The others would stare at mirrors or water for a long time, as if they didn't recognize their own reflection. People began to notice that the others often stood by windows, or simply in open spaces. They were looking somewhere. Eliza grew suspicious that something was wrong. She studied the surveillance camera footage, hundreds of scenes, different days, different people, different locations. She plotted the directions of these gazes on a map.
Go, like,
The lines
spawners, go, like,
converged
I gotta
at
piss.
one point.
Oh shit. I need to piss. I need to piss. I need to piss. Oh. A lubba dub double dip. Okay, baby. Dude. I'm so baked. I'm baked, bro. Oh my god. I'll take this one. Beep, 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 cheepy, cheepy, cheepy. Ah, got new bathroom water, dude. What you know about bathroom water?
Toward the center, toward a place no one wanted to recall. Toward the
The
ruins.
midget zone.
When Eliza showed
Oh,
David
okay.
the map and her notes, he said nothing. He just sighed deeply and stared at the screen for a long time. Healy knew that Rachel's fate still haunted him. There were frequent incidents of vandalism in the colony. In the common dining room, the words, "They're already in," appeared in red letters. The wall was painted over, but the pictures went viral throughout the colony. Healy understood that things would only get worse, so she decided to send detailed information about everything that was happening there to Earth. She knew that Rachel and David would be against it. She realized that they would receive nothing from Earth. It would take 11 years for the message to reach Earth. And it would take just as long for a reply to get back, if there was still anyone on Earth to reply. Healy sent everything that could be of any use. Reports, videos,
It's been
camera
150 years.
recordings,
Why would the
medical
Earth
logs,
be destroyed?
psychoanalysis, even audio clips of someone just crying into a microphone. Everything in one package. Everything that could help understand what really happened on Elpida. Healy hadn't even left the communications center when she heard the sound of an incoming message alert. The screen showed the same frequency, the same signature. It was a response to the data package Eliza had just sent. The response was supposed to arrive in at least 22 years, but it arrived in 10 seconds. Eliza stiffened. It was impossible. A response in 10 seconds, as if someone was already nearby. At that moment, the floor shook beneath her feet. It was as if a faint but distinct rumble came from the depths of the planet. Astra reported.
A sharp change in electromagnetic radiation has been detected in the area of the central object in the ruins.
As if something had been turned on. Something incredibly powerful.
Abnormal floor activity detected.
Surveillance cameras recorded the first groups of the others leaving their sectors. They walked silently, one after another. Some lingered at the doorway. They stood there for half a minute, as if catching an indistinct signal. And then they left, all at the same pace. They all headed in the same direction, into the forest. Beyond the forest, above the ruins, a bluish glow appeared.
I am the squirrel.
in the previous episodes. After 150 years of travel, 3 generation ships from Earth finally reached Elpida, a habitable planet orbiting the star Ross 128. People landed, set up a base, and began to explore a world that seemed almost welcoming. In the violet, luminescent jungles, they discovered artificial structures. Because of their abandoned look, they were named the Ruins. Almost immediately afterward, an epidemic broke out, an aggressive, unpredictable virus. With the help of the AI Astra, a vaccine was developed from local life forms. It saved more than 97% of the colony. Some people had already fallen ill before vaccination, some even without symptoms. Admiral Rachel Lee refused treatment and vanished. Her bracelet was found at the entrance to the ruins. Some of those who had survived
It's so
Netflix
cliche,
started to
dude.
break out
That,
a
what
report
would the
back to
Admiral
Earth's door, not 11 light years away. At that very moment, a sudden burst of activity was detected at the ruins, and, as if on command, the others silently, synchronously abandoned their sectors and walked into the forest, toward the central structure. 7th month on Elpida. A week has passed since the others silently retreated into the forest, dissolving into the violet thickets. The base has fallen quiet, but it isn't peace. It's more like waiting. Some breathe a sigh of relief after their departure. Others fear their return. Many fear they won't come back alone. Eliza notes in her report there is no contact with those who left. No autonomous trackers were placed on them.
Yeah, but what about the AI that just the thing that just sent you like a message immediately? Why don't you use that one
Their
again?
departure was both spontaneous and synchronous. Drones managed to trace only the first few miles. Beyond that, the interference from the ruins blocked everything. A search and rescue operation is out of question, but Eliza can't forgive herself for doing nothing.
A week without contact. These are our people. We have to do something.
I'm ready to hear a plan that at least won't get Miss killed.
While the base recovers, Eliza files a report to command about her decision to transmit a signal to Earth, and about the terrifyingly instantaneous reply. That reply violated every known law of physics, so an investigation was conducted. It confirmed the header and signature format were correct, Earth standard, but the content could not be decoded, and its source was definitely not Earth. It was coming from somewhere nearby. The exact location couldn't be determined. A second signal was needed for triangulation. The working group decides that sending a second signal is far too risky. Command orders the matter classified. The channel was deemed compromised until the situation is fully resolved. The executive officer issues the strictest ban on any further attempts to contact Earth. Violation would result in a tribunal. Weeks pass.
Well, that's
with no
convenient.
incidents. The Earth channels remain shut down. It seemed as if everything had calmed down, but it was only the calm before the storm. 8th month. The ships in orbit recorded a slight global deviation in the planet's radiation background. Then came a faint ripple across radio frequencies, ones not connected to the ruins. The pattern repeated, and the amplitude grew. The source of the anomaly was quickly identified, and it was not on the planet. The source
sun.
was the planet's parent star, and that was the worst news the expedition had received in all 150 years of its journey. Worse than the strange signal, worse than the others,
It's
worse
about
than
to
the virus,
explode,
and
dude.
every mystery of Elpida combined. Orbital reconnaissance registered signs of an impending superflare on Elpida's star. The AI Astra ran an immediate simulation, and the results triggered a red code, a lethal threat.
Strong flares are normal for red dwarfs, but each one unleashes radiation that wipes out nearly all life. From day one, I didn't understand how such a dense forest could even grow here.
And?
And it can't. It all adds up now. Soon it'll be gone. And so will we. No one lasts more than a week after that dose of radiation.
We'll report to the Admiral's executive officer in Eversing. We need to evacuate everyone to the ships.
We won't get everyone off in time. But we could not fly. But just go away.
Are you thinking the same thing I am?
This news hit everybody hard. No one knew if the planet would remain habitable after the coming cataclysm. What would be the point of this whole mission then? But everyone understood one thing. There was no point in sitting still and waiting for death. Sunlight had turned from a blessing into a mortal threat, and so salvation had to be sought in what had always been avoided, the darkness.
Dark zone, yeah.
On Elpida's dark side, this
And that's why the people who got bzzed in the head, they went to seek shelter, because the planet knew this was gonna happen. See?
This planet always faces its star with only one hemisphere. On that side, there is eternal day. On the other, eternal night. Until now, the dark side existed only on maps, a frozen wasteland, unfavorable for life. But when Astra confirmed the coming flare, the truth became clear. There was no choice. Everyone had to move. On the dark side, the planet itself would shield the colonists from its raging star. According to the Orbital Observatory's calculations, there were 3 days until the flare. In that time, people and the most essential supplies had to be moved to the safe latitude on the night side. After that, they would only have to hide away, wait, and hope. 3 days until the flare. Day 1. The technicians leave first. Their task is to set up initial shelters and provide at least minimal conditions for the displaced. They were sent forward without families and without extra cargo, only tools. Inflatable modules, generators, and beacon kits to mark the route. The column departs, a walking team of 20. They travel on foot to personally ensure the route will be passable for the rest. Shuttles and rovers can't possibly move thousands of people in 3 days. 2 all-terrain vehicles with crews accompany them. Rolls of thermal fabric, collapsible supports, canisters, crates of beacons, and reflective marker tape are on board. Recon drones fly ahead at 300 feet, automatically taking a terrain snapshot every 1,000 feet and updating the map. At key points, they installed tripods with radio beacons. Tomorrow, everyone else will follow them. 2 days until the flare. On the second day, movement becomes continuous, like a river. Walking groups, trucks and rovers for the elderly, and those with limited mobility. Departures run on schedule, every 40 minutes. A walking group, trucks, and a mobile medical unit head out. The priority order is clear. Women and children first, then critical equipment, then everyone else. There's a quick gear check, verification of beacon bracelets, and tags on backpacks at the start. No one was to be lost in the violet jungles. 1 day until the flare. The columns march into darkness. The landscape shifts slowly, yet inexorably. The star hangs low, dragging out long, flickering shadows. Any moment now, it will slip below the edge. The light grows dimmer. The air is drier, colder. A thin frost begins to crust the ground. Then, a sparse, dry snow starts to fall, not clumping, but cascading in tiny grains, crunching softly under boots. Engines hum in a more muffled way. Footsteps merge into a single rhythm. People walk closer together, as if trying not to lose warmth and sound. The horizon darkens ahead, and each step seems to echo louder. Suddenly, the temperature plunges. Elpida's dark side greets the columns with flat, motionless silence. On the bright side remain those shutting down the base. Watch posts, power crews, doctors. Then they too hurriedly leave it. Only the few who could not be persuaded stay behind. By the evening of the third day, the en route lists almost match the arrived lists. Eliza still keeps open the file with blank lines, the ones who walked into the forest. From them, still nothing but silence. The lists of resettlers have gaps not only from the others. An elderly couple, Catherine and Martin, refused to leave. They said they'd already lived too long in the hollow darkness of space, and here, at last, they'd found the home they'd always dreamed of. David and Eliza pleaded, offering seats on the shuttle. But the old couple signed a waiver. David keeps his eyes on the sky. Orbital scouts confirmed the forecast.
David.
Time of impact, unchanged. 3 minutes to the flare. A message in a short package comes through. Flare confirmed. First radiation front in 3 minutes. Suddenly, everyone feels a brief underground jolt. Not like an earthquake, more like some giant switch that had been flipped inside the planet itself. Almost simultaneously, orbital sensors register a surge of electromagnetic activity in the region of the central structure. Then, similar surges erupt in other regions, places where no ground missions had yet been deployed. On the dark side, people instinctively press closer to shelters, even though there's no direct threat here. The instinct to hide was too strong to fight. The edge of the sky flares with ionized light. In stunned silence, people watch the glow, wordlessly bidding farewell to those left on the day side.
It's begun.
Catherine, Martin, how come?
We spent our whole lives dreaming of a new home. We waited an eternity to see a real sun, and now we...
Seconds and minutes
Yeah, holy
stretch on.
fuck.
The sky burns with auroral fire, but the emergency channels remain silent. The first graphs appear on the master display. Dosimeters on the day side are reading at the lower edge of the projected range. Not zero, but nothing like they'd prepared for. A repeat check confirms radiation background is abnormally low. Infrastructure is intact. Biosphere in test zones is showing no critical damage. In fact, no damage at all. As if nothing were happening. The command block is silent. No one understands. Everybody waits tensely for the orbital scouts' report. The orbit relays a brief conclusion. The planet's magnetic field strength has tripled out of the blue. This protective shield had absorbed the first blow of the flare. It deflected the deadly stream of particles, sweeping them away from the planet. Something about this picture was too perfect. Confirmed flare, auroras, underground shock, low background radiation, ruins coming alive. The puzzle begins to take shape.
As if the planet
saved itself.
Not just the planet.
Oh no, it's Commander
Rachel,
Yin Yang.
You're
dude.
alive. We were freaking out.
Where are you? We'll send a shuttle for you right now.
Belay that. Listen up. Not just the planet. Us too. That's what this was all about. That's why we came here. I found the answers. You've already realized what the ruins really are, haven't you?
I think I do now.
Rachel speaks calmly, briefly, like at a pre-launch briefing. Only now, every word lands on what they've already seen. Everything simply makes sense. What the colonists called the ruins were in fact nodes of the planetary defense system. They didn't preserve memories of the past, as people once thought. They served as guardians of the present. They generated the magnetic field ahead of each dangerous flare. And where was the energy coming from? Presumably from the planet's molten core.
And the beacon signal, so it wasn't an invitation, it was...
A distress call.
Almost. It was a plea for help.
The planetary defense system had been designed by unknown creators to run for centuries without supervision. Rachel calls the creators themselves the architects, the nodes of this unfathomably vast machine. backed each other up, drew power from the core, while the beacon rested in orbit. This system was the planet's shield, built by an ancient civilization against the rare but devastating flares of their star. The system could sense danger in advance, from faint background fluctuations, from dark spots on the star, from the strength of the solar wind. But like any machine, it needed maintenance, and for thousands of years, it had none, as though the architects had forgotten the planet, or simply abandoned it. When danger came again, the system no longer had the strength to act alone. It needed new hands, new eyes, operators who could help steer the planet safely from the storm. That was why the beacon sent its call, a desperate plea for help. The planet was calling for new operators, and that was the signal humanity had heard centuries ago.
As for the epidemic, I think you already understand that it wasn't exactly a disease.
Put a firmware. An update.
Correct. Extraordinary abilities were needed to operate an extraordinary mechanism. Every death from the virus is my personal tragedy. But those sacrifices were not in vain.
The immense technical complex of planetary defense contained elements of synthetic biology. The machine was a living organism. It was artificially created, but undeniably alive. And though the system functioned autonomously, it also required someone alive for fine-tuning. Those who recovered have gained new sensory abilities. They had an astonishing side effect as a bonus. They began to see emotions, literally, as if subtle waves of light shimmered through the bodies of others, like water ripples. Fear had a cold, trembling pattern. Tenderness, a soft golden glow. Sadness, quiet blue threads flowing downward. And this wasn't just seen by a single person, but by everyone who had changed. They no longer needed words to understand each other. A single glance was enough. But the most astonishing discovery was something else. They saw similar patterns in other living beings, in Elpidian plants and in terrestrial animals. The forest was no longer silent. It breathed, responded, and embraced them with a quiet harmony. And in that, there was nothing alien, nothing frightening about that.
And those you called the others
are the new operators.
Yes. We're the ones who activated the planetary defense.
And you were something like a navigator. The most other among the others, so...
Come back. We're coming back too. It's over.
While everyone is counting heads and preparing to return to the light side,
Unity.
for the first time in
Autism
a long while,
wins again, dude.
people's
Hell
mood
yeah.
turns
Autism
light.
saved the planet,
They've survived
bro.
the storm. Readings are steady. Communications are stable. The columns head back along the same route. The glow from the light side remains just as bright enough now to illuminate the endless white plain. People noticed a strange, barely perceptible symmetry in the landscape. Parallel faint lines in the snow in the lowlands, evenly spaced intervals, repeating angles, stretching for miles and miles ahead, all the way to the dark horizon.
Looks like some kind of quarry. Marble quarries on Earth looked a bit like this.
At first, it seems like nothing more than a play of light and shadow, but line after line forms a pattern. One far too precise to be accidental. The column slows. The nearest group, Healy, Grass, and 2 technicians, veers off the route and drives a rover out to investigate this strange structure. They find the first geometrically perfect object with right angles. The contours of another emerge beside it through the snow, and another, and another. Thousands at the very least. Layer by layer, they clear away hardened snow and frozen grit. Beneath it lies a slab, flat as a table, with a barely visible, hair-thin seam.
Dishwashers.
They don't dare try to open it. Instead, they bring in equipment, scanning from different angles, until the image slowly begins to appear. What the screens reveal leaves everyone in shock. A figure slowly emerges on the screen, as if a developing photograph. A vague but recognizable silhouette. Shoulder arches, rib lines, bent knees, a peaceful pose, face turned upward, hands folded across the chest. Remains of humanoid beings in capsules that look suspiciously like
This
Graveyard.
This isn't a quarry.
It's a graveyard.
Oh my god, dude! How many fucking episodes are there of these things? Oh my god, they're opening up, dude. Wow. Oh man,
In the
dude.
previous episodes,
after a 150-year journey, 3 generation ships from Earth finally reached Elpida, a habitable planet orbiting the star Ross 128. It was an incredibly beautiful world that seemed friendly with violet luminescent jungles and no predators. People landed, set up a base, and found artificial structures in the forest. They were called ruins because of their abandoned appearance.
But they
Almost
weren't ruins.
immediately after
They
that,
weren't
a
a
local
planetary
refused to take the vaccine. Strangely, began a roar of the floodly radiated as if the
Never.
This isn't a quarry.
It's a graveyard.
the first day after the flare. The colonists return to the day side of the planet. The way back seems much shorter. The base awaits them untouched. Radiation
This guy had so
levels
much
are
fun doing
normal.
this,
Life
making his
support
little
systems
AI
are
story.
working, and the planet's magnetic field has returned to baseline. At the edge of the base, on the border between the jungle and the living quarters, the others meet them. They stand silently, lined up in an uneven line. Rachel is at the front. Tension hangs in the air for several endless seconds.
Right?
Then someone takes a step forward. Then someone else. And another. The border crumbles. People rush to each other, hugging and crying. Some apologize for their fear and suspicion. Some simply express gratitude for being saved. Rachel stands aside until her children, who have grown up during these terrible months, make their way to her. They hug their mother silently, tightly, as if afraid of losing her again. By evening, Rachel calls a general meeting. She speaks at the command center in front of the officers, but her words are broadcast throughout the colony, to every living module, every corner of the base, to the 3 ships drifting in orbit. Her voice is calm, but she sounds exhausted, like someone who has survived the impossible.
We are not a threat. We are a bridge, an interface between humans and the living biomechanics of this planet. We heard the call of the protection system when it awakened. We helped activate the node and create a magnetic field.
Now, everyone understands this. Fears, suspicions, separation into friends and foes. It's all over, but there are still a lot of questions.
Yeah, space autism.
The graveyard on the dark side has added dozens of new ones. It's decided not to dismantle the temporary camp on the dark side. It will be converted into a permanent research base. Now, it's an outpost of humanity in the realm of cold and darkness, where the creators of the very system that just saved them all rest. 1 month after
But they're
the
not
flare,
resting, they're hibernating.
new mixed
dude.
teams are formed right after the meeting.
You know they're not
Ordinary
that,
people
they're
and
hibernating.
the others now work side by side. Those who used to fear them now volunteer to be part of joint teams to study the ruins and the dark side. The others quickly become irreplaceable in logistics, medicine, and biointegration. Their sensory abilities are unique. They sense the slightest changes in people's emotional states, anticipate conflicts before they arise, and react with a precision that is beyond the grasp of ordinary people. In logistics, they instantly calculate the optimal routes. In medicine, they see issues that a scanner cannot detect. They recognize patterns in the behavior of Elpidian flora without fail. The Colony Council expands. For the first time, the others are joining it. The Council makes a historic decision to introduce a new calendar. The familiar Earth years are retained for convenience. There are no seasons on Elpida. Time flows differently. But the day of the flare and rescue now becomes the new reference point. It is declared the Day of Awakening. A naming contest is announced for bases, sectors, and routes. The first children born after the flare undergo a routine examination. Everything is normal, no anomalies. Eliza makes a note in her personal diary.
For the first time, we cautiously, very cautiously, allow ourselves not to be afraid of tomorrow.
On the dark side, research continues. The graveyard turns out to be enormous. Thousands of burial capsules stretch in neat rows to the horizon, disappearing into the eternal night. Researchers begin selective dating. The results are staggering. The most distant burials are incredibly ancient, hundreds of thousands of years old, possibly more.
How did they all get here? There are no animals here. What could they have evolved from?
Among the neat rows of burials, one special sarcophagus strikes the eye. It stands out from the rest. It stands alone, as if it had been installed in a hurry, last of all. The coffin is carefully cleaned, revealing longitudinal seams and hollows. Perhaps it's a locking mechanism. Then, the sarcophagus is x-rayed and scanned with ultrasound. The monitors show an elongated skull, thin collarbones. It's all confirmed. Here, too, are the remains of a human-like creature. The lid is hooked under the side recesses and along the seams. It is lifted with jacks without jerks and secured. The silhouette inside is the same as in the image, face up. Scientists take organic samples and conduct rapid analysis on site. Radiocarbon analysis confirms their suspicions. The remains are only about 300 years old, a negligible period compared to the age of the graveyard. And that's about the time the Earth received that very first signal. The team of researchers silently realizes that they are looking at the last operator. Inside the capsule, in addition to the remains, they find a small object. The device is the size of a human palm, made of a material resembling both ceramic and metal. It is smooth, warm to the touch, with barely discernible lines on its surface. There are many assumptions. Maybe it's a transmitter, or a media block, a holographic projector. The device is taken to the base and transferred to the laboratory. The first activation attempts fail. Scanning reveals an incredibly complex internal structure. Layers of crystal lattices, an energy source that is still functional. The device was only activated with the help of one of the others. There was a message and clear instructions on how to decrypt it. It was impossible to translate it literally. The difference between the civilizations was too great, but there were also many things in common. With the help of the others and the AI Astra, they managed to decipher the meaning of the message.
Varon, Lare Norka Shahunra, Orathun, Vorlen Shai Kraganthak, Einavar Hushen, Shurayan Vakhelra, Oranthar Varhina, Ashkar Shalena Rainor, Fahlai Mela, Lumara, Shaira, Evaru Nura, Ashanvur, Thuranor, Varuneshal Veshai, Evahun Lare, and Trustedna, Nurka Veshal Bakuntha,
That was like the one.
Vashankaru
The
Nevor,
one thing they had in common.
Farem, Neshumara Velhai, Ne Shumara Vena, Ne Shumara Noruma, Hale, Avesha Oranor, E Arafel Shuremra, Falun Varkai un Aller, Presha Lumara, Lashen Voranui.
Dun, dun, dun.
6 months after the awakening. On the day side, there is restoration, rethinking, and a gradual course for development. Temporary bases are converted into permanent ones, and new ones are being built. The first permanent routes between settlements are created. New schools, children's sectors, and medical centers begin to operate, now taking into account the new physiological characteristics of some of those who have recovered from the disease. A new word appears, Elpidians. This is how children born after arriving on Elpida are called. The words humans, the others, and Elpidians become widely used in the lexicon. Humans are ordinary people born in space on ships on their way to Elpida. The others are people transformed by the virus, who have acquired new sensory abilities. Elpidians are people born on Elpida. They have innate new sensory abilities. On the dark side, the first major discoveries are made. Scientists have long been puzzled by the location of the architect's cities. Finally, the answer is found. Large settlements were discovered under several feet of snow. Entire cities with no signs of serious destruction. The walls are made of the same composite material as the ruins. Domes, passages between buildings, deep shafts leading into the bowels of the planet. Everything is sealed, preserved by time and cold, but not destroyed. Thousands of objects, power nodes, engine rooms, transport platforms, huge reservoirs. The purpose of most of the objects is unknown, but much of it still looks operational. A barely audible technogenic hum is present, a flickering of indicators deep in the corridors, lights that turn on automatically. The architects built it to last for centuries. A systematic reverse engineering program is launched. Specialists carefully study the design and principles of the architect's technologies. The others are massively involved in the analysis. Their sensory abilities provide the key to the operating principles of the devices. By gradually uncovering the secrets of the architect's technologies,
what about the Olympians?
the colony
whatever?
shifts from survival mode to a stage of rapid development. It is already clear that the planet's resources are almost infinite, and the architect's technology incorporates the principles of regeneration and symbiotic interaction between technology and the biosphere. This revolutionizes the approach to infrastructure design. It is agreed that nature and civilization will never, ever again be rivals. First year after the awakening. The colony celebrates and recalls this year. The bright side of the planet has changed beyond recognition over the past year. The very first base has become the core of a new infrastructure. The areas that have grown up around it are no longer called sectors. Now they are communities, neighborhoods. All governance processes are decentralized. Key decisions are made at the council level, which includes both humans and the others. It is a system in which consensus is the first priority. Disputes are resolved through dialogue, not pressure. This has also been made possible by the help of the others with their hyper-empathy. The education system is restructured from scratch. Old Earth subjects are updated, and new Elpidian subjects are introduced. Now, they teach biointegration, sensory ethics, and flareology, the science of flares. On the dark side, reverse engineering of the architect's technologies continues. The expression, darkness holds the light, is firmly established in language. This is how people now refer to the balance between the sides of the planet, seeing harmony in it. People are learning to make self-repairing structures from the architect's biomechanical materials. This makes it possible to build further, wider, in a variety of conditions, and in harmony with nature. The ships in orbit are now empty. All civilians and almost all crew members are already settling on the planet. Only those on duty at key posts remain. Shuttles and orbital stations are modernized as the architect's technologies are mastered. 3 years after the awakening. The Dayside is no longer a base or a camp. It is a city. Buildings are rapidly constructed using hybrid technologies of humans and architects. Houses differ in shape. Their height is usually 2 to 5 stories. There's no need for more. The city is built out, not up. There is a lot of space between buildings. The streets run straight, without bends or chaos. The windows are tall, floor to ceiling. At intersections, straight rows of trees are planted at regular intervals. Elements of Elpidian biology are integrated into houses from the outset. The buildings literally sense their inhabitants, subtly adjusting conditions to suit their state of being, mood, and routine.
What the fuck?
Elpida becomes a home, but with a distinct personality. People here do not try to conquer or change the planet to suit themselves. They learn to live within it. Nature resonates. Bioluminescent organisms are now used as navigation markers, indicators, signaling systems, and even as interface elements. New hybrid gadgets are created with built-in Elpidian biology. The first child is born to parents who are both the others. His vision and hearing reveal abnormal parameters from birth. They aren't limited to the usual human ranges. He sees heat, for instance. He can tell which cup on the table was held recently and which has been sitting there for a while. And sometimes he looks at an empty spot as if something were there, because he picks up an ultra-faint glow the human eye usually doesn't notice. His hearing is also extraordinary. He can hear very low sounds, the vibration of the floor, the tremor of walls, the movement of air. Despite all these remarkable abilities, the child is surprisingly calm. This is now just another normal variation. So begins a new generation. 5 years after the awakening. Elpida's population has grown by a third and now stands at over 9,000 people. New settlements have sprung up and are expanding far from the first base. Schools, medical centers, workshops, and assembly units are built. The first power plant based on the architect's technology has been launched. A full-fledged agricultural zone has been created on the Dayside. Food is no longer delivered from orbit, but is grown locally. It is a mixture of earth crops and adapted local flora. Biodegradable greenhouses are in use. The others also play a key role in this. They can feel plants. There has been an 87% reduction in domestic conflicts. Psychologists say anxiety disorders in the colony have fallen to almost 0 in 5 years. Rachel no longer commands the fleet. She is now the head of the Navigator's Corps, a new official structure that includes planetary protection operators. David and Eliza conduct parallel development projects. David's mission is to integrate the architect's biotechnologies with human technical capabilities. Eliza's goals are the biological adaptation of people to the planet and the development of Elpidian abilities in humans. 10 years after the awakening.
What?
Elpida's population is already around 12,000. The first generation born on Elpida is growing up. These teenagers have different habits, different logics, and a different rhythm of life. And all of them, without exception, have the abilities of the others. These abilities manifest themselves gradually during the first 10 years of life. A new tradition is taking root in the culture. On the day of awakening, the last operator's message is broadcast on all screens. No one is afraid of his words anymore. They are seen as a blessing and a farewell. Rachel, Eliza, and David are gradually stepping back and passing on their experience and knowledge to the new generation. They are invited to ceremonies and asked for advice, but the world is now driven by others. 22 years after the awakening. The colony on Elpida is no longer perceived as an expedition. It is a society, self-sufficient, sustainable, mature.
Yeah, look, they're
the
building tall
foundation
buildings
of
now.
a
They said
future
they shouldn't build
civilization.
tall buildings.
Its population is close to 22,000. There is a balance between cities, and the territory is not growing chaotically. Construction is based on a flexible modular scheme. Each sector can be adapted to the population, terrain, and logistics, all in perfect harmony with nature.
Okay.
The others participate in the council, teach, lead field missions, and advise on strategic planning. Their role is undeniable and invaluable. They are
Base
respected, admired,
broccoli.
and learned from. Medicine has shifted toward
A lot of
prevention.
blackies in the future.
Interfaces based on Elpidian flora are in use. They monitor hormonal shifts, stress levels, sleep quality, and emotions. This is a continuous background calibration and adjustment. Thanks to this, most diseases do not even occur and are being forgotten. Average life expectancy is growing rapidly and has reached 150 years for the first time. Education has been completely adapted to the new society. A generation has been born that does not fully know any earthly language. The main language is a hybrid based on various earthly languages, but with elements of new terms introduced by the others and adapted for communication with AI and biosystems. The new principles of resource distribution exclude the market in the earthly sense. Energy, housing, food, basic provisions, everything is available, open, and even automated. Demand for something more complex is covered by factories based on nanoassemblers. These are tiny nanorobots that assemble any object at the molecular level. Anyone can submit a request and get the needed spare part, tool, household item, or even a high-end gadget. First, one can choose from a versatile catalog or make a digital model. Then, the system checks the sector's energy budget and the composition of recycled raw material cartridges. Based on the results of the check, the order is placed in a queue. Next, the nanoassembler weaves the structure in layers: the frame, conductive channels, and active surfaces. Where required, the architect's biomaterial is added. It bonds itself and seals microcracks. Thus, in a couple of hours, anything can be made from waste and additional raw materials. Fasteners and adapters for pipes, a set of parts for a drone, an educational toy with AI for kids. Production on Elpida has become a public service. Law as a separate institution no longer
What
exists.
do you do then? You can just fuck
It has
around
been
doing-
replaced by network decision-making protocols developed and refined by the colonists themselves. Disputes are resolved through arbitration sessions, but disputes are increasingly rare. As people acquire new abilities, they resolve interpersonal situations independently and in the most sustainable ways. The ideas of heroism and sacrifice have
Look at
almost
these Indians,
disappeared
dude.
from
Space
culture.
Indians.
They have
Baka,
been
baka,
replaced by the
baka.
theme of compassion. The most respectable is not the one who endured and overcame everything, but the one who helped others. Rivalry is rapidly becoming an obscure relic of the past. The new civilization is entering its first golden age. Archival protocol is activated in the communication sector. An incoming signal is detected on one of the old frequencies, with a timestamp matching the data packet that Eliza sent to Earth 22 years ago. The file is corrupted. The metadata is readable. Origin confirmed. Solar system. Everybody realizes that this is now a real message from Earth. Participants in the events of those years are urgently summoned.
If anyone hears this, it means it got through after all. I'm Evan South, former engineer. This is Resolute Station, the last one still holding on. We found your data packet in the archive by chance. It arrived at a time when no one cared anymore. Everything is over on Earth. The climate, wars, famine. Everything you probably warned us about, but it's too late now. 50 years ago, a ship was sent after you. A new, fast one. But the last one. Communication was lost almost immediately after it left the solar system, so we won't fly over it. There's nothing to fly on. And no one left to fly. At first, we tried to contain the degradation. Then just to survive. Now, I don't even know how many of us are left. Tens of thousands? Fewer? But if you can hear this,
They all die, dude.
then it wasn't in vain. Take care of your new world. And never come back. End of transmission.
An intelligence officer reports. A message comes from orbit. An unidentified object approaching Elpida has been detected. The object is of artificial origin. As it approaches, the system gradually builds up its contours. A longitudinal cargo bay, power units, docking units, and external radiators. The algorithm begins to compare the object's silhouette with what it knows. The expedition's archives and old Earth catalogs and drawings. The screen flashes with lines of comparison. The match grows by percentages
It's
with every
the
second.
one that came 50 years
A faded
after.
logo appears on the monitor. An old Earth font.
This is an Ark-class Earthship.
Dun, 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 dun. So now old Earth is invading new Earth. Very, very dramatic, dude. Oh. Some more of this shit. No, damn it, dude. I need more. I want more. You nigger, give me more. Aww. Aww. Dude. I have to subscribe. Dude, that sucks. I thought it was interesting. It's not. Billy Baton. Woohoo. Billy Wahoo. Billy Yahoo. Billy Wee 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 Wee. Get the Benny Balava.
Hassan on Asmongold, his day will come. Hassan yesterday, it's actually
That's the same shit over and over, dude. Brece, Bralce, Brelge, Bralge. I want more of that stupid show. What is that? That stupid show. What the fuck?
In the spring of
This is this the whole thing? I want more of this shit, dude. It's AI. Yeah, I like this AI shit. It was interesting enough, you know. Squabba squeeba squabba bop. Squabba squeeba squabba squab. Thirsty for some pussy. Hey,
You gonna go to the cabin?
Fahrenheit here. Went to their website.
And if a trout gets it, it's not going down.
Huh? Whatever happened to your Mortal Kombat arcade collection videos you were gonna make some more? Tranny. Fuck you, dude. I hate these people. Is he a tranny now or not? Did he just stop being a tranny? I think he just stopped being a tranny at one point, didn't he? Between MK1 and MK11, he just dropped the whole tranny persona. He's just like, nah, I guess I'm straight again. I don't know. I don't trust these people, dude. He can shut the fuck up, you know. He can shut the fuck up. He can schmuckity fuckity shut the schmuckity. Make schmuck. What he can do.
In 1982, a pair of robotic pioneers Cold War history. Many people don't
I just want to see the rocket getting. Hey, cool tits. Da na 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 na. Goku's final divine revenge. What? This is like Goku's ultimate form. Fucking angelic Goku. What the fuck? What is this? Oh my god.
Uninterrupted for long minutes, each testing the limits of the other. The blows intensified, energies collided. Many minutes passed, then suddenly the atmosphere calmed. A moment of reckoning, a moment where each side caught its breath.
What happened to Vegeta, guy? He died or what?
Goku disappeared. Suddenly, his hand was gripping the priest's jaw from the front, fingers digging in brutally. Complete humiliation. Goku in a terrifyingly calm tone. World of the dead. He is at a threshold point, beyond a barrier I cannot penetrate. Everyone was stunned. Then Zeno spoke. Then, what about my mother and my father? I want to see them. Shenron lifted his head and fell silent for a few seconds. Then, for the first time, he closed his eyes. A full minute passed without a word. Then, without uttering a single sound, light ignited in the dragon's eyes. Space trembled, and then Shenron vanished suddenly. At that moment, a soft light surrounded Zeno. Not an explosion, but an embrace. Everyone waited. 1 second, 2, but no one appeared. The light faded. Zeno, in a broken voice. "Where is my mother? I can't see her." Everyone looked around in disbelief. This is unprecedented. Shenron does not make mistakes. Krillin, did the wish fail? Before anyone could finish speaking, a beam of light descended from the sky, slowly, as if choosing its place.
What is this shit?
Arius, Zeno's father, stepped forward. Energetic connection between us. Manifestation became possible for them as well. Another moment of silence
Fucking what?
before the two thrones. Then he turned, uneasy. Wait, what kind of rule is this? I'm not even good at these things. Ozarius smiled. It will not be a traditional rule. You will hold a position beyond any classification. You saved existence, Goku, and what you did surpasses us all. Goku looked again at the two thrones. But I see two thrones. For whom is the other? Will we rule together? Ozarius slowly shook his head. No, Goku. There is someone who deserves it more than I do. Goku grew confused. He looked around. The faces were smiling. A strange smile, as if hiding something. There's something concealed. What's happening? And suddenly, footsteps. Not ordinary footsteps. Steps that carried authority, majesty, and the weight of history. They grew clearer. Then he appeared. A sharp gaze. Royal features unmistakable to the eye, holding his daughter in his arms. It was Vegeta. Goku froze. His eyes widened. He didn't move. He didn't breathe. Goku, in a broken voice. Vegeta? How did you come back? Is this really you? Vegeta stopped in front of him and looked at him with that look Goku knew so well. A calm, challenging gaze. Then a faint smile formed on his lips.
What happened
Vegeta,
here, dude?
What kind of stupid question is that, Kakarot? Do you really think the Prince of the Saiyans disappears that easily? Goku's voice trembled. His eyes filled with tears. Understand. Balanced, refined, different. He opened his eyes. He had arrived. Goku with pure amazement. This is incredible. Vegeta smiled. The spark of challenge returned to his eyes. So what do you say we celebrate in our own way? I've waited for this moment a long sea appeared outside the palace. First collision, the sky trembled but did not shatter. Even blows, power without hatred, a fight not for survival but for life itself. Friends watched from the windows, smiling.
This is the dumbest shit I ever do. They become like gods and shit. Like, oh god, what happened to Vegeta? How did he die?
Your only
Dead off
mistake
screen or what?
would begin now. Silence dominated the arena. Then someone spoke in a trembling voice. How did he reach this level of power without the necklace? Whis replied, it's clear that the power of Zeno's father played the decisive role. But what worries me isn't that. His body movement.
Where's Beerus? Beerus got fucked up. What is this?
Gohan, wait. Let us.
That is crazy. I want more of that stupid show that AI show, dude. I liked it. It was entertaining enough where I could just aimlessly watch it and pay attention. You know, it's like it was nice. It was like a man explained everything. There were no fillers. There's like here's what you really care about. I'm go on Twitter and see what's up on Twitter. On the Twitter. Oh shit, dude! Look at the cat go. Oh, oh this is AI. Oh, unlucky. How is this?
What the fuck? What the fuck? You just fucking. What the fuck did you do?
What is going on? Why is she recording it? Oh my god, dude. Eh. Damn, look at that's a sick. The police just having fun. Damn. Why is there a cat here? Poor cat. Okay, I saw this super sick. I don't know where I saw it. Was it? I don't know where I saw it. Was it on Twitter? I guess. Shit, I guess it was on Twitter. I saw it. But this super sick. Soul Calibur clip. It was super sick. I wish I could see it again. That was quite ridiculous. Biggie, biggie, biggie. Nah, I'm gonna fuck off and do my own thing. I'm gonna, I don't know, play some video games and shit. Play some Overwatch. And then maybe take a nap. I'll see you, dude. Way Peace out.